Thank you for holding. Your call is very important. The first available KIE representative will be with you shortly. Beast Mode. Effective January 1st, 1978. All clocks and industrial electromechanics operations will cease. Please contact your assigned account representative for account transfers or contract settlements. Thank you for holding. Your call is very important. The first available KIE representative will be with you shortly.
Hello, internet people. How you doing today? You doing good? I hope so. Thank you for being patient. What I expected to be a shipment of diodes turns out is just foos, which is disappointing. I didn't think that would be something I'd say today. I was disappointed that I got food instead of diodes, but that's where we are. Okay. So tonight we're going to honest to goodness, try getting games on the Atari ST. I know I've played the Atari ST before, but like actually getting golf games loaded and ran, I think is going to be a bit of a different kettle of fish. The Atari ST is a pretty complicated computer, and there's a lot of functions and features you can add and additional like hardware, none of which is like a direct one-to-one replacement, and there's a bunch of concepts that I just don't quite understand with this computer yet that I have to learn. So we're just gonna march right into this blind and see what's gonna happen. I did a little while ago preload a bunch of games. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to test much of them at all. But that doesn't mean we're not gonna try doing it. So, enough waffling from me. Let's switch over, and what the hell happened to the color? I just can't win. I can't win today. It's just gonna do this shit. Okay. Not to panic. I have an idea. All right. We're poking at shit live, gentlemen. Ah, yes, you know. It's days like this. It's days like this I wish I could still buy ceramic screwdrivers. Way back in the day, you used to be able to buy Phillips and flathead screwdrivers made out of ceramic because there are some pieces of tech that you cannot tune and adjust while they're off. You have to do them after they've started and warmed up. And there's two sectors. There's two sectors where you still have to do this. And that's any sector that still needs to use tube tech, and any sector that needs to deal with like audiovisual or radio. And there's a bit of overlap between the two. The solution now, if you're in like industrial automation or something, is they'll is this the right one? Did I get the... No, that's not the right one. In industrial automation, what they decided to do was just take a screwdriver and completely coat it in rubber. Nope. So that was right. A little red. That looks better. All right. In the red pot. That looks okay, I guess. Doesn't look as green and still kind of washed out. There's not a lot I can do about that. Okay. We are ready to go. I got a drink. I have food. And we have mouse audio text. Audio is not working. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is how it's gonna be today. There we go. We've got a nice tuned... Okay. Let's choose... dot dot. We'll switch to here. All right. Challenge Golf, 1991. Online entertainment. Did I get the right disc? Correct, Elite. All right. Now I have to be really careful. So I was last week fighting with the sync circuit with this again. Because what I managed to do, and when I tested this and played on it before, with some marginal results, I managed to get video out of this thing by taking the signal that comes out of the Atari ST, feeding horizontal and vertical sync lines through 2 exclusive OR gates to make an exclusive NOR gate. Then I fed that into this Chinese board built for like converting arcade machines from CRT to LCD. So it can take weird signals and then it converts it to something that a VGA monitor can display. And now I'm capturing that. And it works okay, but if I put myself... this circuit I made is so sensitive to EMI. If I even put my hand close to it, sync drops, and I don't know what to do about it. Because I was like, I could re-engineer this circuit, but I don't have the energy or patience for that. And then I also thought, well, another thing I can do is, if it's sensitive to EMI, I'll just wrap the whole thing in foam, then wrap the thing in foil, and then tie the foil to ground. But what was crazy was when I tied it to ground, the whole circuit shit the bed. And I don't know why. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this from scratch again. And then I didn't have the parts to make it from scratch again. So now I have the secret third option. And the secret third option is that I just place it somewhere in the room where sync is stable. And that's what we'll do. That's where we're gonna keep it. All right. So I've got something in floppy disk A right now. I've got okay, can I actually launch it from here, or do I have to boot off of it? I think I gotta boot off of it. Code.bin. Yeah, I think this is a disk I'm supposed to boot. This mouse is being fussy. Everything's being so fussy today. I'm a 21st century man and I'm dealing with stupid bullshit. Now I'm being old and grumpy about it. Okay, so I gotta give this a bounce. Oh, I should actually put in here that we're ready to go. There! I got my big stupid hat in the way. Okay, so I'm gonna be reaching my hand real close to the sync circuit, hopefully resetting this thing. Hopefully we don't drop. Alright. So we did lose sync for a minute. Hello guys, here you have another game cracked by the MCA/HTL, members of Elite, if you... oh. I still think it's funny that, like, crack and hacker rings and whereas rings were pirating golf games of all the stuff they could. We're just gonna leave this sit here for a minute, because this is pretty cool. Listen, man, I'm gonna get as much mileage as I can out of this thing, because it was a right pain in the ass to get running. So if I sit here and relish the small things for a bit longer than I should, that's why. I've had too much of my time, energy, and patience, and money spent making this stupid thing start. I don't think I want to get started on the guy where most of these upgrades had to come from. Note how I said had to come from. Maybe if I get, I don't know, drunk or punchy or don't really care about my self-preservation, I'll get to grumping about it. Sorry, I just looked back at the screen and I'm seeing the scrolling message going by saying that I'm an asshole with a small dick, and I don't know what message I missed, but I think somebody's mad at somebody. Alright. He's starting up. Online Challenge Golf by Jason Chone, Jay Chone and Online Entertainment. Sound on. Not that mouse. Okay, I gotta figure this out. Load, mouse, save info, records, stroke play, one player, go time. Okay, so I gotta get the golf game list going here, or I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm gonna have a hard time. Atari ST. So this is Challenge Golf. Yes. Alright, choose a course. Okay, what courses? Do we have something in the Arctic? No, we don't. Banff Springs. Something in Russia? You know what? We'll do Banff Springs. In honor of, you know, it probably burning down. All right, look at that. That's impressive. I bet you I have played Challenge Golf on some of the other platforms, but this is pretty neat. Banff Springs. Spray. Player 1. Adrian T. Strong breeze. Not very strong breeze. Hole 1. Par 4. We're gonna go right here. Ooh, I like that. I really like this. This is impressive. And it's all mouse driven too. Okay, I'm gonna do something that might blow smoke. Joystick does nothing. The reason I say it might blow smoke is I have an adapter plugged into the joystick port of this thing, and I didn't quite. I don't think I have it tuned right, but we'll see. We're gonna use, let's see, range 233, shaft 47 inches. I don't know why that's important, but we're gonna take that. Gonna aim right there. Oh, did we do it? Well, that we did. Okay, so we have a pretty strong pull here. So we're gonna do that. I cannot see the ball. Did it go in? Okay, what's going on here? I cannot see the ball at all. What is going on here? Why is this not... Can I zoom in? I cannot see. So I wasn't putting hard enough. It just wasn't moving at all. Okay. Well, that was a 19 and a par 4. Completely botched up the putting. But still, this is pretty cool. And you know what? This computer's holding its own pretty well, considering the shit I've done. I'm not proud of what I've done, except for the fact that I very clearly am proud of what I've done. All right. Food ready. Okay, 5 iron. That's nice that it auto selected it for me. This runs pretty quick, I must say. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. Alright, hole 3, par 4. Alright. Up-how. Alright, so it's suggested a 6-iron. I don't know better. 125 yards away. Oh no, I overshot. Wee bunk. And it went to a bunker, didn't it? No, it went right beside. This is impressive. Boop. Oh, it skipped out. And skirted right by. Damn it. I got it right once and I felt too confident in myself. Oh, it's rolling back. Oh! I love that. Just, oh! Alright. Let's see what we got here. 565 yards. It's a par 5. I'm no big fancy golf playing man, but I think we just need to give it a walloping. Pitch wedge, huh? Alright, we'll just give it a smackin'. Pow-pow! Oh. Well, I tried. And now we're in the bunker. outside. Somebody's gonna smash into somebody else pretty soon. There we go. Very nice. Yeah! Hey, what's kind of cool is that the Atari ST has only got 3-channel square, but they somehow can get sound samples out of it. And I don't know how they're doing it. Did it freeze up? Or did the mouse die? Oh, okay. I was just being uppity. Here I was talking about how good it's running, and then it suddenly just quits. Very nice. That should do. And we got to putt uphill, so we have to give it a little more beans. And missed. And damn it. Oh, bogey. Oh, damn. You know what? I'm pretty pleased with this. This is holding together. I've got electrical tape and duct tape and circuit boards everywhere, but it's holding together and I'm really pleased with it. Even if it did just hiccup a few seconds ago. Or a few minutes ago. Hole! Okay. I love how that's just the celebration. Oh, yay! There we go. Alright. Pow-pow! I'm getting a good first impression of this platform, I must say. I think I am going to be a fence sitter about the Atari versus Commodore. The only thing I am going to say, not the only thing, I'm probably going to say a lot of things. But if there's anything I'd like to say right out of the gate, it's that the Commodore was, both Commodore machines I own, were magnitudes easier to fix. Like, massively easier to fix. Okay. Sorry, I'm munching on a very Canadian meal of hot dog and a poutine. Speaking of Canadian food, there's one thing I've always wanted to try, and that's pudding chamour, which is a Canadian dish. And it literally translates to unemployment pudding. And it's one of those food items where it was made during, like, the Depression era and, like, when people where unemployment was really high. But it ended up tasting so good that people just kept continuing to make it after. It's like if somebody made water pie in the modern era, and it was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. Okay, it's loaded. Give it a wallop. Oh, I must have overshot. Oh my god. Alright, pitch wedge. We'll go that far. That's too hard. And I missed anyway. No, that was perfect. What the hell? A bogey? Not bad, not bad. Actually, this is going really fast. Like we're a minute in, and I was late to start because of a delivery, which later learned was Bud. And now for the hot dog. Okay. Okay. Boop. Up. Oh, miss. There we go. I'm figuring this out now. I could take my broken as piss golf club and make that an emote now that I'm thinking about it. I actually have a lot to think about what to do. I'm looking down the barrel of like a big chain of computer upgrades I wasn't equipped to do. Well, not wasn't equipped to do. Wasn't prepared to do. Because okay, I like NVMe storage. My grievance is that because of how NVMe works, you don't have an NVMe controller because NVMe is that a bunch of flash storage is directly sitting on the PCI Express bus. So it's got the same level of access to hardware that your GPU does. So you don't put a storage controller in between. You don't put a storage controller in between your NVMe storage and the PCI Express bus, which means you don't get things like RAID. And I'm a very strong proponent of RAID in home grade machines that are used for work. Like, sure, your laptop, you probably don't need it because, like your work laptop, because you likely are storing all of your important data on your company's network drives, which they're doing the backups for you, and they've pre-configured your computer for you, and they have templates and deployment tools for you. Or they use, or they have cloud storage if they're with like Office 365 or something. But for a home, you don't have that. So if you're doing like important-ish things at home, and you aren't a business, or you're starting a business, you should have some form of RAID on your machine. Now, RAID isn't a backup though. Like you shouldn't depend on RAID in lieu of a backup, but it does help you keep your computers running when a part fails, especially with like solid state drives. SSDs, they don't really give much of an indicator that they're failing other than they just fail. So you could be caught in the lurch. So I finally found an affordable NVMe RAID controller. And I realized, I was looking at my computer, and I realized that despite the fact that it's not the biggest, most powerful thing on Earth, but it's not a slouch either. It's kind of formidable. I went in between every paycheck, I bought a stick of RAM, and there's only 4 slots in here. I got a 32 gig stick of RAM every paycheck, and there are 4 slots in here. And so I maxed it out at 128 gigabytes of RAM. And then saved up another few paychecks and got one of the new Ryzens. Was it a Ryzen 9? Which was its own story. Actually, I could probably get into that story a little bit later. So, like, a 3060 NVIDIA GPU, 128 gig of RAM, and one of the Ryzen 9s that's got, like, 12 cores in it. It's not like the big boy, top-of-the-line, fancy pants thing, but just over several years of just saving up now and then and upgrading, it's pretty good. I realized that I goofed up buying a motherboard, however, because wow, that transitioned really fast. Apparently the motherboard I bought is like some lousy variant that people advised to not buy, and I learned why, which is that there's barely any PCI Express cards in here. Sorry, not cards, connectors in here. It's like 2x16s, and then 1x8, and then the rest are times 4. Which means I can't put the RAID controller in that I bought. If I can't put the RAID controller in that I bought, then I'm gonna have to take everything out, take something else out, which I don't want to do. So I might have to buy a new board, but if I buy a new board, then I should get a newer board to be more future resistant. Not future resistant. I say future proofing. But that's not accurate, because future proof implies you're immune to the future. Like being obsolete. But yeah, we'll say that. I should be getting the newer generation of things so that I don't have to buy later. Just so, yeah. I'm ready but not willing to deal with that next year. Just so I can have this stupid RAID controller I put in. Just NVMe RAID. That was it. Right, so the processor debacle. I said that's going to be its own story. So, I was one of the early adopters of the AMD Ryzen. And the main reason I was is that it was just serendipitous. I needed to do an upgrade. What I had wasn't cutting it. Actually, that was its own story. Sorry, we're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to go one story prior. I had there was a very particular version of AMD processor that was infamous for, oh, that's going into water. That was infamous for its power consumption and heat generation. It was, oh, that didn't come out right. It was such a pig on power, and it ran so hot. It was, I think they said it came to like 175 or 200 watt TDP or something insane like that. So they said that this CPU required liquid cooling. And you know what? At the time, it was very beefy. It did the job. I was quite happy with it. But I made I bought a motherboard to go with it, and that motherboard had it had a defect, and this defect wouldn't be identified until much later into the motherboard's life. But what it would do was its cooling would fail on some of its passive components. So in modern computers, your power is regulated on board. Like, you don't have a power regulating card like you used to have, or like a power regulating module like you used to have. That's all integrated on board now. And in like really high-end computers, they have these large arrays of power filtering and or like power management. I think they call them VRMs. I think that's the new term for them. So the defect was that these VRMs used a very particular brand of thermal pads to cool them off. And it's like, if you've ever seen on a computer these like two really long slabs of metal around the CPU, it's like a corner slab of what looks like aluminum or steel. That's the heatsink. That's the passive heatsink for these VRMs. The defect was that if you stood the computer up, the thermal pads they used would slowly drain the mineral oil that they were imbued with, and then they wouldn't transfer heat anymore, and then the VRMs would burn. And so I had gone to to the place where I bought those parts. And I went to have one of them look at it because I just didn't have the time to troubleshoot or investigate because that was my only computer at the time. And at that time, trying to live off of your phone for a lot of work just wasn't feasible. So I bring it into the store, and I say, I think I need a warranty call on this. And the guy looks at it, and what he sees is a bunch of dust clumped at the bottom, and it looks wet. And he says, I think you did this on purpose. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. You know what? I don't think this is going to be under warranty. I think you did this. Like, what do you mean you think I did this? And he's like, I think you spilled pop in here. Try and get this under warranty, and you didn't clean it up. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So he points at it, and I said, well, can we check what it is first? Because this sits in a corner that's pretty dry. And it would have been sticky or something. We can check what the consistency is if you think it's pop. He's like, well, I say it's pop, but it could be anything sticky. So I go and touch it, and I'm like, it's oily. He's like, well, I'll fix it, but we're not doing it under warranty. I'm like, oh, if you say so, we'll fight with it later. So then I get a call, and it's the store manager. She says, hey, I'm sorry about what happened. Our guy, the guy you spoke to, talked about your service call. She's like, so, I'm like, well, why are you calling to apologize? I was like, well, he said that you sabotaged it, but, no, she said, he says you broke it on purpose, but we looked and it's mineral oil. Like, okay, and like, yeah, and that's a recall. Like that's right, that's not a recall. That's a warranty call. Like, yes, it looks like it looks like your computer's got a bunch of mineral oil all over it, and it's gotten on other parts. Like, so we're sorry sorry our guy called you a crook. We're gonna get that fixed. And then she calls back and she says, so bad news, that thing isn't in production anymore. That generation of hardware is not made anymore. We don't have something else to move you to. So we're going to upgrade your motherboard to another generation. She said, but you didn't buy the processor and memory from us, so we can't upgrade your processor and memory as well. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So she moved me to the AM4. The AM4 is like the first generation of the Ryzen CPUs. So I bought the first, so I was an early adopter, just from serendipity, of, I think it was the Ryzen 7 1800X. I think that was like the highest end you could get at the time. And I could afford it, and the stars aligned. That CPU, I learned later, also had a defect. And I couldn't determine it for like, literal years. Literal years. What the defect was is the very early batches. Oh shit. The very early batches of the Ryzen out of certain facilities had a defect where if you did certain CPU operations at high load, you'd get a machine check exception. And it was not a microcode issue, it was a silicon level issue, and it was a manufacturing defect that shouldn't have happened. Like, that should have been caught, but because of the mode of failure, their tests didn't catch it. And so I caught it because I kept moving GPUs and memory because I kept at random intervals, like once a month, getting a machine check exception that would take the whole computer down. And it started getting more frequent. And I thought it was the GPU. But it wasn't. After all of this, it turns out that this defect was known about and there was a recall for it, and I met all of the conditions for it. And I go to AMD, and AMD says, like, dude, this was... I'm paraphrasing, but they basically said, like, dude, we put this recall out, like, years ago. You've completely missed the boat. We're not honoring this. It's past... It's so far past even, like, anything reasonable. We're not covering this. But yes, you were part of the affected batch. But you've even crossed our warranty period. Like, it's... They didn't outright say it, but they kind of implied, well, you weren't that affected by it if you went this long limping on it. Which, I mean, they're not wrong in hinting that. Because admittedly, it really did people in when they were playing video games, like really high-end games. I tended to use my computers more for, like, if I was playing games, it was older games or light-duty games. And then this computer was doing more big kid work. So I didn't get bit as often as others did. Or more accurately, as heavily as others did. So yeah, that's why I have a 12-core Ryzen 9 now. I had to move to something, and again, it's like, alright, well, what was, like, oh, this is on sale, that's pretty nice. So then I downsized my computer, like, physically. And I regret doing that now, because I am a very strong advocate of having expandability in a computer, even if you don't use it. The expandability does extend the life of a computer in service. Like, I dare say it's a tall ask, but it's not impossible to have a computer that operates for over 5 years. Actually, Michisu is a mod here, and he also frequents the channel once in a while. His last computer was in service for around 10... Oh, I skipped out of the hole. It was in service for 10 years and was still able to play AAA games. Maybe not at, like, the highest settings, but... with things like using RAID, having machines that were, like, getting a good processor, getting a good GPU, doesn't have to be top of the line, and having a lot of expansion does help keep a computer in service. go. Wow, I just completely used that one. There we go. Okay. Well, this is stupid. Uh-oh. Oh! How's my system load right now? 24 gigabytes into swap? How the hell did that happen? I didn't even think I had that much. Oh, no, I haven't. Okay. I forgot I have swap set really high. Set to 125. Sorry, 128. Alright, last one. Last hole. I do think now with like modern computing, unless you're doing like something with a lot of memory load, you don't really need swap anymore. But I also like the concept of ZRAM, where instead of having a dedicated spot on your, like a dedicated partition on your local disk to overflow memory into, or to like store data that was written to RAM that is accessed very infrequently, you could instead compress the ever-living shit out of it and then carve out a certain area of your RAM to be that overflow area. So yes, you're not wasting several gigabytes of disk space for your swap. And like that super compressed to shit area of RAM is still more, like, still faster to access than whatever you're putting to disk. But the trade-off is the CPU load's really high when you need to read and write to it. And that was suddenly... Oh, that's suddenly way too hard. Okay. Boop. Damn it. Oh, this is just not working out for me. Boop. Hole. There it is. Challenge golf. Done and dusted. Please don't. Oh yeah, now there's no... Oh, now there's no sound at all, huh? No music at all? Okay. Challenge golf. This one's gonna be risky. There was one called Gerhild's Challenge. And it's got a very funny disc image name. I don't know what it's like, but my god, we're gonna find out. What did that say? Did that say virus in Bootstrap? Room sand. What the hell? Mini mind? Something's not right here. I thought it said something weird like virus in Bootstrap or something. Disk, Corbiel. Desktop info. Okay. About what? Mini mind. Okay, what's in mini mind? Mini mind program. Load, damn you. Yeah, I'm gonna be prepared to cut the video off. Well, that worked out well. Okay, it's gotta be under Gerchild's somewhere here. Gerchild's PRG. Pizza pizza. Still, I'm gonna be ready to cut the video in case something goes wrong. Okay, it did not work. Okay, well, this one does not happen. This one's not happening. Okay. Greg Norman's Ultimate Golf. Mm-hmm. Greetings to Colonel Mustard. Gonna get any crazy Cracktro music? Still loading. Here we are. You know, there's something to be appreciated about this sound chip, even if it isn't as like as advanced as like the Commodore SID, or isn't as like isn't sample based like its like its competitor, the Amiga. It's still pretty cool. It's fun to listen to too. They do a lot with it. Could you imagine your job? And you're like, alright, we're gonna be paying you a flat rate to make a song. Well, what is it? It's like, oh, it's golf. Greg Norman's golf. And you're like, who the fuck's Greg Norman? You're like, I don't know. What do you think Greg Norman would like? Oh, fuck, I don't know. And then they send this to the music production, not the music, the composer, and he's like, I know exactly what to do. Then he just goes to town doing this. I don't know if that would be a very disheartening type of job, or it would be something that was, I think this would either be one where, like, you absolutely love your job, because you can just, like, write whatever you want for whatever, like, obscure, demented scenario they thought of. Or you would hate your job because you think it just contributes nothing. I'm pretty sure somebody has to love their job to, you know, go through all of the fighting and headache necessary, like all the fighting and headache that you would have to cough some. Brain, come on, Brain. You've thought before, Brain. I believe in you. Okay. Composing music for this chip is not easy. Nor was it for the SID, nor was it for... Actually, the Atari is... Sorry, the Amiga was a bit easier. Because it was all, like, sample-based and you had software for it. The SID, not so much. But people had to write software to control those chips. But, like, it's a lot of... It was a lot of work to make anything come out of those chips. So it's like you'd have to have at least some kind of passion for your job. Okay. This might be the crack. Yeah. Okay. And we lost sync. Okay. Now we're reaching the point where things are going to be a little tough here. Press J for joystick, K for keyboard, M for mouse. M for mouse. Select course. Rack Epsom. Okay, it's loading. Oh, that's looking grumpy down there. Okay, is that smell outside, or is that one of the circuits? Okay, I see no smoke. But I certainly smell something. Ooh. That FPGA gets toasty. Alright. Match play, stroke play. We'll go... Yeah, we'll go practice. Why not? Start game! Select 3 game. 3 clubs. 1 wood. 2 wood. Oh, we always need the 1 wood. 3 wood. Oh! Choose 3 clubs to leave behind. 4 wood, 5 wood, 1 iron. Now this is certainly different, because we played this on the... We actually played this exact game on the Amiga and the Commodore 64, and now the Atari. So let's see how it's... We'll see how it's different. And now there's no more music, of course. Yeah, something's starting to smell a bit smoky. But I don't see any smoke. I'm starting to think it's coming from outside. Or we're gonna find out really fucking quick, won't we? We're gonna hear a pop while I'm talking, and then it's gonna be donezo. Alright, let's... Sound? Wait. Completely fucked that up. Greg Normans. Ultimate Golf. Paddy is thinking. Alright, that'll do. Alright. Boop. Damn it. Boop. Why did it take so long for the caddy to think that one time? Wapow! Let's see, 282 yards. The one wood goes 250. I'm gonna do something stupid and crazy, and you can't stop me. Wow. Just completely fucked it up. Oh, it was a sandwich. I thought it said 9. I thought it was a 9 iron. Okay, now it's an 8 iron. There we go. Okay, well, the smell of smoke has gone away, so so it's either not actually part of something I'm doing to this computer, or I have inadvertently, like, slowly broken in a component of this. Either way, I'll take it, because it means I don't have to fuck with it right now, because I don't have the patience. Boop. Oh, shit. Oh well. And... boop. There we go. Bogey. And... wapow. Oh, and that's straight too. Whoop-ow! And down the hill into the sand trap. God damn it. Hey, V's, how you doing? You doing good? I hope so. I've made it start, and I have made it run, and that is all we're talking, and that's all I can ask out of this abomination of a computer. Doing great. Oh, that's good. Up to any good mischief today? I got affiliate. No fooling. You know, I saw yesterday you had hit 9 viewers. So when you said that you were at 2.9, I was thinking if that would be enough to bump the number up. But that's awesome. Good on you. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Not that I did. I didn't do anything, but I'll take the credit. No problem at all. So, have you thought of any good fun plans to do with the extra functions and features? Honestly, right now it's kind of surreal. I could understand that being surreal. You've technically got a stripped down set. I'm definitely going to hit up my artist friend. Well, that's good. That's good. Get your commission your friend for some cool fun stuff. I mean, it is kind of. I can understand why you're saying it's kind of surreal, because you've been issued now a stripped down set of tools that I'm sure a lot of people on this platform that you look up to have as well. So you're like, holy shit, you could almost go so far as say you're one of the big kids now. I'm doing the thing. You are doing the thing. This caddy has been thinking for a long time. I noticed. Oh! Okay, he's done thinking. Alright, let's see. We got 118 yards. Let's change the club. Alright. That goes 155. 145. Let's use an 8 iron. Oh, shit. It's interesting how, like, okay, I've played this exact game on, like, 3 different platforms now, and the gameplay is notably different, and the experience playing them is surprisingly different, despite it being, like, the same engine and the same user interface. And, like, a lot of it has to do with, like, computing resources, right? Because some of it's computing resources, some of it is probably like mentality of people on the platform. It's kind of interesting that way. Because, like, okay, I've played this for the Amiga. And for the Amiga, yeah, it ran a little clunky. And yeah, you could play on the mouse, but they were kind of expecting you to play on a joystick. And we didn't get all these nice touches, despite the fact that, like, on paper, the Amiga should have been the beefier machine that could do more. It seems that the Atari ST version seems to have all these features. Playing on the Commodore 64 was painful. Like, immensely so. Because, like, there's so little RAM in the Commodore 64. Well, 64 kilobytes of RAM. It couldn't, like, hold everything. I keep hearing about an old computer people want. TR something. There's the TRS-80. That's it. Yep, the TRS-80. Okay. The first TRS-80 is not a good computer. Even during its day, it wasn't a good computer. But that's the interesting part, is it doesn't have to be good, it has to be accessible. And when computers weren't accessible to people, having, like, a cheap piece of shit was better than not having anything at all. And that's one thing, like, I've talked about this at the Commodore 64, and why, like, there's a reason, like, if Commodore was still around right now, I'd be buying it. If they still keep with their philosophy. The point was to be accessible to all, not good. So the Commodore 64 is not good. It's actually a really shitty computer. But what made it so infamous was the corners they cut were deliberately done that way so that it could be in a person's hands and have the things that people wanted at the same time. So how they chose to do that was not the right way to do it, but it was the only way to do it to get it into people's hands. And once you let the public get their hands on it, and you let people from all different skill sets and all different walks of life take a crack at it and do things, you can see some pretty amazing shit come out of it. Like, we still have, like, a pretty big demo scene for the Commodore 64. Actually, one of the greatest demos I saw came out last year. But, where was I going with this? Yeah, the TRS-80 was so shitty of a computer. They didn't implement lowercase letters to get the costs down. They literally could not afford lowercase characters. Now, granted, I'm saying that with a modern man's slant. And the reason I'm saying it with a modern man's slant is, in the 70s and 60s, computers didn't really have lowercase either because it wasn't necessary, and, like, the amount of ROM space that took was kind of a waste. And so you'd see in, like, some really old documents, like, coughed out of a computer, if it needed to do uppercase, or it needed to denote that something was uppercase, it would put a line over the uppercase character to tell you, no, for real though, that one's uppercase. Yeah, actually, I have a TRS-80 model, sorry, a TRS-80 color. They call it the Coco. The TRS-80 Coco 3? No. I think it's no, just a regular one. At least they still figured out something. Yeah, and that's the neat bit, right? But yeah, Tandy is its own interesting story. Radio Shack. When Radio Shack actually used to be a respectable company, they made their own line of computers. Oh, I fucked that up. Okay, well, at least it didn't fly out into the bush. Why did that go wrong? A picture of me ended up in a Radio Shack corporate email. No foolin'. How did you get into a Radio Shack corporate email? What have you done? I was playing Pokemon Go in front of one of their stores. Oh, that. I remember that. That became a really big to-do. And then some folk, didn't they for a while, they, Pokemon Go let you apply to be a gym because, like, cafes and stores kind of figured out, like, hey, a lot of people come in and sometimes they buy shit. So I remember hearing that for a while, you could apply to be a gym. And that just caused a surge of people coming in. The email said something like, "We need more of this." Oh, well, that's good. A friend posted the picture on Instagram and tagged them. Oh, so they were in on the idea too. That's cool. At least you were in there for a good reason. Yeah, well, I was a good customer. The best customer. But this rough is rough, dude. Yeah, you do one goofed up swing and then everything goes to shit. Now the caddy is thinking. He's questioning his life choices working with me. Okay, no. He already knows to quit after. Wow. Okay, we're just gonna give it a walloping. Now we're on just only kind of bad rough. One wood, we're a full 257 yards away. Oh my god. Less rough. Oh, that one worked. Oh, I thought it worked out, but no, it didn't. That's, I guess, technically the bunker. Alright. Let's give it a little bit of a chip. Just a little chip. Just a little chip as a treat. Damn it. God, it's a disaster, I'll say. I love how it doesn't mince words. Just expected to put up dog shit. Embarrassment. I know what I am. I embrace it. Caddy is questioning his life choices. Caddy is assessing where he went wrong in his life. Caddy is wondering what happy people are doing. Caddy is questioning whether he should have taken his mother's advice and become a referee instead. Caddy's trying to remember if he had turned the oven off. Thank God it loaded. I was running out of ideas. I was running out of the runway was running short on the bit. 175, 195. Look at them all just rolling. Oh no. Yay, Caddy did the think. It has succeeded in thinking. I so botched that, man. But this worked out. Caddy thunked real good. Computers can think. Computer thunked real good. Yeah, I'm not worried about computers taking over for a very long time. There's a threshold that needs to be crossed that we haven't hit yet. I don't know. My stance is, in order to get something as complex, so complex that it would doom us. Sorry. In order to get something equivalent to us, you have to make something that's mentally equivalent to us, which means that you need to give it some kind of rights. Or it's gonna get as upset as a person does when they don't have rights. That's my stance. If you get it to parity with us, you have to give it rights or you're gonna have trouble. And that's not me making a threat, I'm just saying, like, historically, when I was a philosophy major in college, this was one of my favorite ethics conversations. No foolin'. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you do, you have mentioned you are trained in philosophy. But yeah, that's kind of my stance. If you can make something with the same cognition as a human, and then you treat it like a thing, it's probably not gonna like that. And if it doesn't like that, it's gonna do what people who are sentient do, which is get mad. Be like, well, could you maybe alter it so it wouldn't get mad? It's like, or, crazy thought, you could not subject something to that. I've built a machine that feels nothing but pain. well, maybe you shouldn't do that. It's like, no, we just hardwired it to not scream. Like, that's why your stock is very high. Yes. Oh, the caddy's thinking again. I just fear humans being prejudiced. Yeah, they do that. They do that. I know that came off as dismissive, but it's like I don't have anything more meaningful to say other than, like, yeah, you're right. They are. And when you... there's gonna be a reckoning, I think, that when you build something that serves you... No, it's true, I get you. If you build an appliance that serves you and you give it cognition, that's gonna be a reckoning for a lot of people. You've got people who use like animals for service or utility, who also don't treat their animals very well, let alone like a full-blown machine. But like, I don't know. I think it's playing with fire when you do this with the machine. So I was actually thinking about this on the car ride back home. When we say that a human's ability really is to make tools, I'd go a little further than that and say what a human's ability is. Oh no, it's gonna make me chip from here? Oh fuck. I thought I was putting. Oh no. Shit. Oh well. Let's go halfway up the gauge. I dare say that a human's ability is to create something that exceeds itself in some way. Which, I mean, if we want to be pedantic, that's what a tool is. A tool can do something in an enhanced fashion, like that the wielder can't. Like a hammer can drive in a nail, but a human can't. So it's like if we're going to create a machine that is sentient, that serves us, it's going to be superior to us in some way, because that's the whole point. Damn it, it happened again. Why does it want me to chip on the green? Yeah, pulleys. Yeah, as an example, yeah, pulleys, multiplier strength. Why is it trying to make me use a sand wedge on the green? The computer's job is it just does calculations faster than you can. So now what we see today with computers is we can do calculations so quickly and we can do logic operations so quickly that we can reproduce entire abstract concepts, describing them as logic operations in math that are done so fast you can generate them in real time. Like this, like what we're seeing now. I completely botched saying that one, but brain is pudding right now. I don't think I really bounced back from my fatigue over the weekend. Actually, I'm reminded of a conversation I had several years ago on stream, actually. It was with Sunfall. I was a math double major too, but I dropped near the end. It's kind of funny that the thing that looks like a computer on screens is not good at math, but no, I am too scramble-headed for math. So, good on you for getting that far in math. I know some who absolutely love it. And I can see, like, I don't find it enjoyable, but I can see why somebody would. Because you can derive like, or not derive, you can distill concepts down to math. Not easily, but effectively. So it's very useful to have like training in like advanced mathematical concepts. But I unfortunately have to leave that to someone else. I love theoretical math and behavioral econ math. Econ was my minor. You know, I have a family member and they have a doctorate in public policy. And like the intersection between people, the intersection between people, math, and economics, and like psychology and ethics is pretty interesting. So like learning about, like I had a lecture from them about TV licenses, right? Because people make fun of Britain for having TV licenses. But once you know the history of Britain, it makes sense why they do it, right? So since they've been around since medieval times, they bring that with them into the modern day, even if they don't intend to. And so one of those things is this concept of, instead of peasants, serfs, and lords, it's now lower, middle, and upper class. And their wealth gap is still pretty large. And it was back when the TV was invented. And so, like, the lower class couldn't afford a TV, yet they were paying taxes for it, and they got pissed off. Like, well, if we can't afford this, why are we paying for it? Like, why are we paying our taxes why are we the peasants paying for this when it's only the wealthy and ultra wealthy who get a television? So they're like, all right. You only pay for, instead of your taxes going to paying for TV services, those who own a TV need a license, and the license fee goes to it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And you would never think of that as, like, from an outsider looking in. It just seems crazy. Like a hunting or fishing license in the US. Because yeah, you don't need that in the UK, do you? Because actually no, they used to just freely hunt wherever. Isn't that right? Or am I out of my tree? I'm probably out of my tree. So what's the history with hunting and fishing licenses in the US? Because I know in Canada there's that too. Was it a class disparity thing as well? More so goes towards preservation. Oh, so they need the license to see who's hunting, to see how much is being taken out of the population. Like how many animals are being taken out of the population at any point. Isn't that why they make you like tag what you hunt as well, or like report it in some cases? Animals were going extinct. Ah. close, though. Double bogey. Alright, and actually there was another conversation I had with that family member where I kind of mentioned in passing, well, there are rules for each license of what you are allowed to do with it. There are rules for each license of what you are allowed to do with it, and that stuff helps pay for things like game wardens who watch over the area. Oh, okay, so the license fee goes towards preservation as well as enforcement. Okay, I see. Oh, that's gonna curve. Actually, that worked out pretty well. So I had another conversation with that family member, kind of half joking, kind of half not, because in where they live, there's a lot of cyclists, which is good. But one of the problems is they don't follow any type of flow control. Some licenses are limited in quantity. Oh, so that helps deter from or not deter. That helps with overhunting and like overculling the population, I take it. Yeah, where they live, they have a lot of cyclists, and that's good, but one of the problems is they choose to not follow flow control. So if there's like stop signs or there's crosswalks or there's like a pedway, they tend to smack pedestrians, and they tend to like blow through stop signs and cause collisions. And I said, you know, why could you not implement a free of charge certificate of competency? So I said my harebrained idea was, what would happen if you separated the concept of road competency with motor vehicle ownership, and you instead had a certificate of competency, and then you would get an extension to the certificate of competency for a particular vehicle. So your certificate of competency would give you the right to use a bicycle, and then that would be for free. And if you chose to get a motor vehicle license, you would then pay. Or you could choose a motorcycle, which would be cheaper, and going from bicycle to motorcycle would be cheaper than bicycle to motor vehicle. And they immediately piped up and said, this is absolutely stupid, and here's why. I'm like, okay, why? So they said, you've accidentally criminalized You've accidentally criminalized destitution. Like, how? How? It's free. And that's when they said, you know what happens if a person is, like, homeless or just completely destitute? Like, no, what happens? See, historically, the best way to get out of impoverishment or destitution when you have no resources is to build or steal a bicycle. Because if you have to secure transport. If you're impoverished or destitute, you can't take the bus. Most places can't be walked, and most places won't let you walk if you're impoverished or destitute. So you have to build or steal a bicycle to get back up. So By requiring a certificate of competency to operate a bicycle, you have made it impossible for there to be a legal route for an impoverished or destitute person to secure employment. Because even if it's free, they still have to go sign up for it. And if they have to sign up for it, they likely need an address, and they can't do that because they have no home. I'm like, oh. This is why they have a doctorate in this stuff, and I don't. The thought never occurred to me. I've heard of a ton of stuff like that in the US. The like stealing a bike to bootstrap part, or poverty is illegal in many ways. Yes. And this is one of those concepts where it's like making it illegal doesn't make it go away, right? Because nobody's willingly destitute. And sometimes it's direct, sometimes it isn't. Like homeless encampments, I'm afraid you're choosing to make the encampment, but it's either that or what? Death? But people don't think that far ahead. Some places it's basically illegal to be homeless, and most don't choose that. That's exactly it. You don't choose to have no money and no access to food and hygiene and whatnot. Like if we want to really go, like, be uncharitable in our interpretation, even like a person choosing to go cobble together a cabin in the middle of nowhere, is that destitution? I don't think it is. You could argue it is, because you're just living off the land, you have no money to your name, but well, even that's made illegal in some places, isn't it? Even if they did, it's usually because they're addicted to drugs and can't get help. Yeah, drug addiction's another one, too. Where I live in the province of Alberta. And we have a problem here with homeless, and it's partially blamed on the Tory government, because what they had done to free up hospital beds is they ejected psych ward patients. So in our case, we even have a homeless population who they're homeless because they cannot function in society because they have mental disorders. Actually, I remember, I wish the US would focus on fixing the root cause of things instead of the symptoms. You'd be surprised that I don't think that's a straight up United States thing either. I think a lot of places do that. Because I've witnessed behavior like that, even just external of the government. Actually, a really good example is a story at the airport, and I felt like me and my family felt like we were crazy people. Disaster. We thought we were going a little bit crazy, and it goes like this. We were at which airport? Actually, the airport doesn't matter. Actually, it's better if I don't say what the airport is, now that I think about it. But during a transfer, we had a layover, Many people get hooked on drugs to escape their harsh reality. That too. That too. For some, being drugged up is better than facing what's happening. Right, so the addressing symptoms, not causes. Right. So at this airport, we had a layover for. Oh, I hit the flag. We had a layover for a few hours, and for a solid 30 minutes, there's a siren going on, and I don't know what the siren is. So I start investigating. We're in the secured area, so you know you go through your screening, and so then you get to go to the secured half of the airport where you've been checked. Well, somebody has opened an emergency door that goes to the exit, but it connects the secured and unsecured area together. And the siren's been going off for over 30 minutes now. And I've gone to a security guard and I've said, fella, you have an alarm because somebody's opened one of the exits. And he just shrugs. Then we go find a lady at one of the desks and I'm like, hey, can you call somebody to address the door? It's like, why? What's wrong with the door? It's like, well, that's what the alarm is. And the lady goes, oh, okay, I guess I'll call somebody. What happens is some Karen walks up, closes the door to make the alarm stop, and everyone else in the secured area of the airport within earshot starts like applauding this lady. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. So like, the alarm isn't the problem. That's not the issue. Somebody just breached the somebody just caused a breach in the secure area. They've either gone somewhere they shouldn't, or they've opened it up and the secure and unsecure area have been open for the 45 minutes. That's why you go to security, because there's just been a breach, or there's just been an emergency. Somebody just ran out the security exit. Why isn't anyone doing anything? And they were applauding her for making the siren stop, not addressing why the siren went off. And I feel like I'm going insane. So when you said people tend to address the symptoms, not governments tend to address the symptoms, not the problem, I'm going to go a bit farther and say I think it's that people tend to address symptoms and not problems. I don't think that's limited to government. I mean, truth be told, I sometimes address symptoms and not root causes. Actually, that's what I did for the Atari today. Actually, last week. Oh, damn. Hey, did ads hit yet? I haven't gotten a warning about it. I'm a little on edge after yesterday. Another viewer was complaining that they got 7 advertisements in a row and I hadn't been informed about it. Sorry, they had informed me about it, but I got nothing indicating that, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around what's going on here. Patty is thinking. Patty is trying to internalize the China room thought experiment. Caddy is grappling with the concept of free will. Caddy is thinking about where his taxes are going. Caddy didn't want to think about it anymore. Well, that's better, I guess. R. That's pretty good. Alright, how many holes have we done so far? We are on... Oh, hole 16. Oh shit, son. Best golfing game graphics I've seen on your show so far. Hey, Bumpers Dog, how you doing? Doing good? I hope so. Yeah, I think you swung in for the one with the little stick man with his tam o' shanter, right? I'm barking up a storm. What? That's good. That's good. I think it's sometimes hard to tell if barks are happy barks or angry barks. I've never figured that out with dogs. I've seen dogs that wag their tail and bark and I get bit. But anyway, I'm glad you're good. So I'm actually pretty pleased. This is holding up. This is a new platform we're doing the challenge on right now. It's not going to be nearly as long as it was for the Commodore 64, because there are way less games for this. And even less golf games for this. But it's holding up. I smelt something burning for a while. And I'm gonna write it off as being external to this computer. Double bogey. Better than disaster. Addie is thinking again. Addie is grappling with his own mortality. Paddy wonders if he can truly tell if the people around him love him or not. And how can you really tell? Paddy wonders, how does a person know what another's thinking? Truly. Caddy is thinking about what happens to him once the game is unloaded. Caddy is thinking about if a clone immediately appeared beside him, would it act exactly the same way he does? Or would it act like a different person? Caddy is thinking about what makes a person actually a person. Caddy is thinking about if circumstances in life change, does a person change? Is Caddy still alive? This happens a lot. This happens a lot in this game. Caddy is wondering if Caddy is dead. Caddy is thinking about if Caddy is a participant in the universe, is Caddy the universe observing itself? There we go. Whew. That was a long existential crisis with the Caddy. Alright. 171 yards. Goes 175. Alright. We're gonna wait till the wind dies down. If it ever dies down. 21, 20, 24, 19, 23, 21, 17, 21, 20, 24, 22, 15, 18, 24, 26. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take 18 miles an hour. Spot on. Let's see what the wind does to this. That probably went to the bunker. No, that went to the trees. The beautiful trees. They're amazing. Ooh, spot on again. Oh. Oh, now it's too hard of a drive. Okay. I see how it is, game. Oh, it's gonna make me do the sandwich. Okay. Is that gonna get me close enough? Still need to use the sandwich. Okay. Alright, fine. Don't bother me none. Alright. And boop. God damn it. Of course it's on the 8th. No, this is the 17th hole. You son of a bitch. God damn it. I can't believe this shit. You seen this shit? This is amazing. There we go. Disaster. You're a disaster. Fuck you. Caddy is thinking about what a disaster truly is. Caddy is wondering how he got this job. Alright. Last hole. 95 yards. 95 yards for the sandwich. I am 28 yards away. So here. I fucked that up. That should still work. Yeah. Yeah. Boop. Yeah! I got par. Yeah! I am sufficient. Congratulations, you have completed the course. For your final score of the round was 44 over par. Wow. Okay. Escape. Can I leave? Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. I do need to refill my water, so I'm gonna step away really quick. I'm gonna come back. And we'll figure out a game plan here, because there's a little bit of a deviation today, so don't go too far. We'll be right back. Okay. So, here's my game plan here. I've been pretty fatigued for most of this week, and so I want to be a bit nice to myself and not push it too hard. We've done part of this golf challenge this is a new platform. This was partially an acceptance test, and you know what? I think it's passed. I'd like to go 3 hours, and we're at 2 hours 45 minutes, so that's not enough to start another golf game. So here's what I'd like to do instead. I'd like to try a demo here. Nine. So I'd like to pull up a tech demo, games demo. Anomaly 1, V8 music system. The what is this? The Mad Bad Girl Show? Let's give that a shot and see what happens. There. Let's see if this works. So we get to really see some of the music in here too. Hopefully. Some of these do some really weird video shit, and it might screw that circuit up I made. We'll see in a minute, though. It says it's loading. This is the Fraggles. That's the group. Bird Mad Girl Show. Hopefully this is... Okay, I'm gonna have to maybe get the video feed up and cut it if I have to. Admittedly, for the Atari STs, for some reason, if you're not careful, some of it is racy. Spicy. So I'm just waiting here. Let's see, it's stuck on track 7. Is it actually loading or did it hang up? No. It did not change. Okay. We'll give the machine another bounce. Maybe it just didn't like... Probably didn't like me, like, faffing about with the disc while it was trying to boot, maybe. Okay. 0. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Okay, space, enter. Worst case, I'll pull up another one that I have done on here before, just to see if the changes I made to the video circuit still hold up. Yeah, I don't think this one's gonna load. Okay, we'll change the disc. Side 2. That's... Okay, let's try this one. Okay, good, we got audio. Ooh, that's looking yucky. This disc corrupt? Maybe something did burn out. God, I hope not. Oh, there we go. Well, the color doesn't look messed up. It's like, there's too much shit to make this actually get captured on here. It's kind of dumb. So I was mentioning before, I have this sync circuit I cobbled together, but then I also am using this arcade board. So not an arcade board. It's a board from a Chinese manufacturer that's supposed to, like, let you replace a CRT with an LCD, so you can feed it all kinds of, like, really weird video signals, and it's supposed to, like, convert it into something over VGA that most monitors can take, and that output is what I'm capturing. You're about to see Anomaly's intro. Hit space after loading. Oh, loading's done. Oh, I'm glad you like it. That's just it preparing for the actual demo. But there's some really advanced ones. Like I was saying earlier, the Commodore 64 still has a lot of demos being developed for it. I think the latest one I saw was like it was from this year, and I think it was called 1337 or like something like that. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, it's from Fairlight, 1337. So a machine with 64K of RAM, and they're doing that with it. But yes, let's let that load. All right. Use the cursor keys to control this menu. Okay, so this demo is called Anomaly, and I was using this to test if the Atari ST was in good condition, and it was mostly in good condition. But what's neat about it is they made a little mini game engine. They made a little mini game engine in the menu. So watch this. Once this loads up, the menu is Marble Madness. So if I want to see a demo, I have to get up to it. There. Like that. Synchro effects. Contains many more or less usual sync effects. There is also a surprise. I guess the golf part's done, so I can get my hat off. There we go. I'm also partially testing this myself. I have a little bit of an ulterior motive here, because again, the last time I ran this demo, all of the colors were fucked up. So I'm checking if it's all intact right now, and it's looking as it should. Because everything used to be like this, like, to be morbid, like pussy gangrenous green. Everything had that, like, that gangrene green. Let's see here. A plasma. Now another effect. Alright, let's see what the other effect is. A raster scroll. See, it's funny because if you're a little bit disconnected from the demo scene and like hardware engineering and software design and retro computing, some of this is just, they really hype it up and you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, what does that mean? Now let's mix some effects like raster and a ball, and you're like, oh, is that good? Is that relevant? Is that something you couldn't do? But yeah, further understanding the platform would probably make me more impressed with some of this. Oh, so it's a photograph. The other neat part is, this is just 3 channels square, and they've got so... They have to really use it. Because again, this is only just, what's it, 3 square channels for sound. And then you can also play samples by themselves. So some of it's actually pretty neat. But okay, I think we got the idea with this. So let's back out of there. Let's go look at another demo. Karaoke. The karaoke one's not that good. I remember a little bit on these, but not a lot. And I know that the karaoke wasn't good. Guest screen, oxygen. An advice for those who want to read the main text. Prepare a bag for vomiting. Is vomiting spelt right there? Maybe it's spelt differently over in Europe. Oh yeah, so the Atari ST was mainly a thing in Europe. Like, yeah, they had them in North America too, but for a longer time than normal, these type of like strange or exotic architectured computers were a thing more in Europe than they were in North America. Well, this is certainly more visible than it was in the past. It's holding its own, like it's not losing sync either. That was another issue. Now, another problem I was having with this is, it was hard to tell what's a color balance issue and what's a me issue, because to make it easier on me when I go to bed, I set the computer to lower the red channel of any video feeds that come into my monitors, so that it's, so I get less blue, sorry, the blue channel, and so I get less blue light near nighttime, so it helps me with my sleep. What that means is that anything that's blue isn't very visible to me. Which is funny, because I chose everything in the stream to be blue. But yeah, it's like, it's holding together pretty well. Well, you know, while this is going on, I think I should look for someone to raid into. Yeah. Well, that's enough of that one. And to think, that's just a guest. Okay, here's the other neat thing. All of these demos are on a single floppy, and it's not high density either. I think it's like, I think it's an 800 kilobyte floppy. Which one's this one? I don't know. I can't remember what this one is from the last time I tested. But then I think after this, that is a weird description, and I don't think I like that very much. think I want this loading finished because this description makes me uneasy. How long is it gonna take to load? Okay, which one is this? Oh. I don't remember this one. It's still weird. Music's pretty cool though. This is a weird message, and I think I'm going to... That's weird. I think that's supposed to be about somebody's baby, but the way they describe it all, it just seems weird. But we're actually at the 3-hour mark right now, so okay. So I think I have an idea on what to do. We got the golf challenge started. The Atari ST is holding together. The stupid shit I did is working. I imagine it's gonna hold together long enough that we can continue the challenge. And I normally go for 4 hours, but I'm gonna be good to myself and have a bit of a shorter streaming, get some more rest in. I think what I'd like to do is raid on over to Excalibur. I haven't done that in a long time, and it seems like he's doing something here. Christmas stories and a ukulele. That sounds like a nice way to wrap it up. So, I'll just switch on over here. We're gonna shut that down. De-energize that before I zap myself. Alright. Get the hold music up. Alright. So, we had a pretty good session, even if one of the, words are difficult. Even if one of the games didn't start. But that one was kind of a risk anyway. So, for the Atari ST, we only managed to get 2 games out of the way, and that is Challenge Golf and Greg Norman's Ultimate Golf. We have a handful more to do, so probably in the next coming weeks we'll continue with the Atari ST platform. Next weekend is kind of in the air still. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off a stream or not. So don't quote me on that. So, we'll raid on over to Excalibur, where it says here tonight he's doing chatting, and yeah, it says here Christmas stories and ukulele. So you all be good. You all behave. I've chatted with him before. He's a sweetheart. So, as always, I'm not going to tell you what to do. So, I'm not going to tell you to stay out of trouble, but all I ask is that if you do get in trouble, you make sure it's the good kind of trouble. And you all stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.